Welcome to Visionaries Global Media, your number one source for podcasting entertainment. Visionaries Global Media, envisioning excellence on a global scale.
This is Banned from Ringside.
Tonight on the Banned from Ringside podcast, Seth Rollins and Aleister Black have a pretty great match on Monday Night Raw. We give you our NXT TakeOver predictions. We also do our NXT TakeOver DoOver Week 6 from Brooklyn back in 2015. And while the country is on fire, the Forgotten Sons pour some gas on it and show their ass. That and a whole bunch more tonight on the Banned from Ringside podcast. Was that better?
That was better. That was way better.
Ditch that 9 to 5. It's time to feel alive. Hello, Marks. Welcome to the Banned from Ringside podcast. As always, I'm your host, Bill Vagey, a.k.a. Butternut Squash. And over there, it's so stupid. That's why I couldn't talk to you when we were...
good about that.
What?
There's so much good about that.
That's why I couldn't talk to you when we were talking before we started taping. I was like, wait a minute, I'm reading something. It's so fucking stupid. And over there in Edwardsville, Illinois, we have Two Beer. Zach Bowman. What's going on, Two Beer?
Oh, you know, just everything. Yeah, you familiar with that Simpsons meme where Bart's like, this is the worst day of my life, and then in an attempt to make him better, Homer is like, the worst day of your life so far. And that's pretty much like what I feel like. Just every day is just worse than the day before it. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not isolated in that.
No, you're not.
That's everybody right now.
It's been a tough one. It's been a tough one for the country, and we're certainly not ignoring it here over at Banned from Ringside. While we may not be qualified to talk about everything that's going on in the country, we are certainly, I think it's fair to say, a Black Lives Matter podcast. If you don't agree with that, I don't know what to tell you. We have a black guy, but we told him to stay away this week because he was too angry, you know, which he tends to get sometimes. So we just told him to stay. No, Jason is traveling right now. We don't have him. So you just got me and Zach, like we did on the very first podcast. You remember that way back when, Zach?
Oh God, please don't go back and listen to it. It had to be terrible.
I have not. I've heard that it's everybody. I've heard somebody say to me, "Oh, it sounds so different." That's just a nice way of saying it sounds terrible. I can't bring myself to go back and listen to it. It is available, as are all of our back catalog. But I am coming at you from South City, St. Louis, from my beautiful, chilly basement. You know, we're gonna have a lot of fun this week. I have to address something for all of our constant listeners, for all of our loyal listeners, I should say. Something happened last week on the podcast where I always give my AKA, and my friend Bo Giesman, who we call Vice, he always sends me 3 funny wrestling puns every week, and he's really, really good about it. He sent me a couple today, even though he said he was drunk. He even said, I think one of those is fucking hilarious, one is very heady, and one is for the masses, but he only sent me 2. And sorry, and he also ended with, sorry, I was playing golf all day and got too drunk to send something, but he did send something. But last week, he gave me 3, but I came up with one of my own, which was Rhetoric Flair. And I liked it a lot. And when I usually say my AKs at the beginning, you know, Zach laughs, Jason Bell laughs. How hard they laugh depends on how funny it was. I said Rhetoric Flair, and they completely no-sold me. And I thought maybe there was something.
And it was hard to no-sell.
I thought maybe like there was something wrong with the audio or something, but I had to keep going. You know, I live off that laughter. You know, guys, I live off of it. And when I said Rhetoric Flair and they no-sold me, I kept going. It kind of threw me off for like the first 5 minutes, and then at the end of it. At the end of the podcast last week, Zach says, R.I.P. to Bill's AKAs. And Jason says, no, don't say that. We'll talk about it off the air. But I'm going to talk about it on air. That Bo apparently got offended that I was going to do Rhetoric Flair as opposed to the 3 that he gave me, which were, let me tell you what they were. You know, sometimes there's winners, sometimes there's losers. $6 Million Hand, which is pretty good. Smark My Words. and Chelsea Handler, which is probably my favorite. But I went out on my own.
That's pretty good.
I went out on my own, and I just burned all three of them. Fuck it, because he did this to me. I went out on my own. I told him, you know what, I'm going to do Rhetoric Flair. He texted Zach and Jason before the podcast and told them to no-sell my AKA. Told them to no-sell my AKA, me. So, yes, the country's having a bad week, but I had a worse one because those dudes no-sold my AKA. I'm just kind of kidding, but I thought you guys would like to know that. Before we get too far into it, let me tell you about F&B Eatery over there on Hampton. I'll tell you what about F&B Eatery. They have tremendous smashed burgers. They are doing curbside pickup, parking available, kid-friendly, delivery, takeout, outdoor seating, good for groups. They accept credit cards. They have the best smash burger in town. They will do breakfast also, which is very cool. They're on 3453 Hampton in South St. Louis. Go and see them and tell them the band from Ringside sent you. And without further ado, let's get to that 3 counts.
1, 2, 3.
Okay, this is usually where Jason starts it. I'll start it this time. The 1 count's going to be, obviously, there is tons of shit going on in America, all over the world right now, to be frank. And, of course, WWE mimics real life, and WWE had some fireworks on Twitter also. Riker from the Forgotten Sons, a group that we've made fun of quite a bit. I probably should have had this pulled up. A group that I've made fun of quite a bit. Zach hasn't made fun of him because he doesn't watch SmackDown or Raw. But Jackson Riker, when Trump came out the other day and said that he was willing to use the military to go against U.S. civilians, something that hasn't happened since 1807, Jackson Riker says, Thankful for the POTUS we have. God bless America, built of freedom. Forgotten no more. Zach, what did you think about that when you saw it?
Man, I have been staying away from social media for a variety of reasons, some of which are, I'm sure, obvious to a lot of listeners. But I actually saw it in the context of Kevin Owens' retweet and comment, which was a really pretty glorious thing.
I have it here if you want me to read it.
Truth. Yeah, go ahead. I loved it because of how blunt and truthful, and I mean, it's not. I mean, he's just right. Like, he's just right about this.
Kevin Owens, who's best friends with Sami Zayn, and it's well known, and Sami Zayn is an outspoken lefty, and Kevin Owens seems to be an outspoken lefty. Kevin Owens says, the freedom you speak of entitles you to speak your mind all you want. I'm not here to argue that. I just really need to tell you that I think you pushing your shitty wrestling catchphrase as all of this is happening is absolutely fucking pathetic. Good night. Hey, guys, that is, in the words of Jason Bell, cold-blooded. Yes, that is cold-blooded. And Mustafa Ali, who we haven't seen in a long time, also got on social media, said something pretty much to the same effect. But
Mustafa Ali, former police officer.
Mustafa Ali, former police officer, former Chicago police officer, I believe.
Chicago police officer, absolutely, yeah, which is, you know, he wasn't some fucking rinky-dink sheriff's deputy or whatever, you know, jerking off on the midnight shift.
He wasn't David Arquette in Scream, you know, guys?
Yes.
He was in Chicago. He was in, you know, he was in it. You know what I mean? But, you know, our politics are pretty clear. We've talked about it plenty on, I mean, if you've listened to us, you know where our politics are. I think it's fucking... Did Jackson Riker not expect to get some blowback for this?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I mean, do you just live in such a bubble? Like, and at first I thought, I was like, well, maybe we'll get him the benefit of the doubt, and like maybe he's like working an angle right, even though that's really bad decision making. It's not like he has not been led by the nose of really bad decision making whenever he works for a company that, went to Saudi Arabia like the same week a journalist was murdered, right? Like, this is like not, this company's not on the right side of history. And I was like, maybe he was told to work this angle, because that's kind of their whole thing. Is like they're former military dudes. He's like a former military dude, and they're like working this like veteran angle. And then like apparently there's some other social media shit that came out. I don't have it in front of me or anything, but no, this guy's just an asshole.
Yeah, he seems to be just an asshole. He came out, some shit came out, a Facebook post that he did last year said that he recommended that black people go watch 12 Years a Slave and see how good they actually have it now, which is... Ugh,
oh, yeah, that's what it was.
That is pretty cringy, man. Like, I'm all for freedom of speech. I'm all for freedom of ideas. But I'm also all for, if you're a public figure and you decide to put it out there, then I'm all for the freedom for people to blow back on you, so to speak, and let you fucking have it, which people really let this guy fucking have it. I don't think that anything's going to come of it. I don't think that they'll work it into a storyline or anything like that. I don't think it was that big of a deal. But it is worth noting that on a week like this, with such a tumultuous week, I should say, in the USA, that it even reared its head on Twitter, on wrestling Twitter, amongst, Kevin Owens he's a lot bigger than Jackson Riker. Nobody knows Jackson Riker's name. I had to look up which one it is. I'll tell you the truth, I'm still not sure which one it is, but I know that he's a piece of shit, and I'll never root for him.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a way to get heel heat. And I mean, like, look, man, I make stupid jokes, and at the same time, they're jokes. Might be like comedy necromancy, right? Like, it's not like shock value comedy. Like, I just have like a sense of humor, and that's how I kind of deal with stuff around me, is to make jokes. So this guy was not joking, and it's not like a political issue. It really shouldn't be. Like, it shouldn't be like a left-right issue. That's how divided we are as a country right now, and it's pretty disgusting and worrisome, because this should be like a unifying thing. Like, the COVID thing should have been a unifying thing, and this should be a unifying thing, and it's incredibly divisive, and it's because we have no leadership. And whenever The Rock, who is a Hollywood actor and ex-wrestler, did you see his speech?
I didn't see The Rock's, no.
Yeah, he put out a thing on his Twitter, about 9 minutes or whatever, when The Rock, who, like I said, Hollywood actor, ex-wrestler, comes out and is more like captivating, unifying, eloquent, and empathetic and caring than the majority of our nation's leaders, especially our president. But I mean, even like the rest of like the politicians and the people that we're looking to, for leadership, like, he's doing better than all of them. And it was like, it even seemed like he waited like a while to put this out. Like, hey, is there anybody else going to step up and like, say anything about this, terrible shit happening? But yeah, right. It's worth a watch. It was good on him, for coming out and saying things that need to be said. And it was not politically divisive. It was not a left versus right thing. It was just like, hey man, like, we're all better than this. And, we need to like come together to figure this shit out. It's going to be hard, but I
wouldn't be surprised if he had political aspirations. I really would.
Well, he did that thing where he came out on the Tonight Show and said he was running for president. Like, I think it was after Trump came, and it was like, oh, well, fucking anybody can be president. Like,
I mean,
Rock's just like, I'll do that.
It's hard to argue with after this fucking idiot's president. And listen, I'm not trying to divide our audience or anything, but I just want to say that Trump is a fucking idiot, and you're smarter than Trump. Whoever's listening to this right now, you're smarter than Trump. And maybe I've had a couple beers already.
Even your WWE marks, you're way smarter than Trump.
And Jason Bell, who's not here, is a big time Trumper. So I know he'd be fighting back on us at every instance here. When Kevin Owens put that thing out, a lot of people were replying to him. I was looking at the replies and the tweets, and a lot of people were putting pictures of the McMahons in the Oval Office with Trump. And listen, not everybody. This is America. Like, we, for better or for worse, it's a capitalistic society. I work for a gigantic financial firm, one of the biggest in the country, one of the biggest in the world. And I bet my bosses don't vote for the most vulnerable people they know. They probably vote for their taxes. They probably voted for, the piece of shit in office, and I don't mind fucking saying it. But that doesn't mean that I can't afford to not make a living. I still have to make a living. So if you're trying to own Kevin Owens with that shit, just fuck right the hell off. It's such a fucking stupid. It's such a stupid response to something that is. It's just so much more nuanced to that, and I guess that's what Twitter does to everybody. We don't have to do that much more on this. Hey, Jason, did you like what Jackson Riker put on Twitter?
Oh, hell no.
You didn't? Because I thought he kind of showed his ass.
Stevie Wonder could see that.
All right, thanks for chiming in. Zach, anything else that you want to say?
I wish I could hear that.
I know. Anything else that you want to say on this before we get into some actual wrestling?
Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter. That's good enough for me to keep doing what you're doing out there, protesters. That'll move it to our 2 counts.
1, 2, 3.
All right, Zach, let's get into some actual wrestling.
Yeah, so for a few hours this week, I was, kind of able to escape the dystopian hellhole that is our country at the moment. So AEW was what I watched first. Opened up with a very solid tag team match. Kenny Omega and Hangman Page facing Kip Sabian and Jimmy Havoc, because they had earned that title opportunity just recently. I don't know if it was Double or Nothing or maybe last week's Dynamite. I can't even remember one day to another anymore. But there was a little bit of interference. I mean, I could see some people that kind of get down on interference, having some issues with this match. But Penelope Ford came out. That's the whole story, is Penelope Ford kind of gets these guys their chances, right? Even though they're both good wrestlers, that's the storyline. And Rick Knox, ejected her after she tried to Hurricane Rana on Hangman Page, and he caught her. It was a pretty funny spot where he's like, Hangman just looks at the ref. He's like, what do I do? What do I do? Even though she's not a legal participant, he could have just power bombed her ass and they wouldn't have been disqualified or anything. But it was still a funny spot. But it was good tag team wrestling, and they got the Revival in the crowd. I like that they start out their shows with a good wrestling match, just a good pro wrestling match with no commercial interruptions. They do that every week, and I love it.
Yeah, who do you like more? I mean, Sabian and Havoc were never going to beat Page and Omega. They're two guys that we don't see wrestle as much as we see other guys wrestle. I mean, I watch AEW After Dark as much as I can, but it's admittedly it's not all that much. Sabian really impressed me. I liked watching him a lot. Apparently, he's 28 years old. He seems to have a lot going for him. How about you?
Yeah, I really do. Jimmy Havoc kind of has a ceiling, right? He's a niche guy.
Agreed.
And, I mean, he knows it.
Yeah.
He fills that niche really well. He's really good at what he does. Seems like a really likable dude. But Kip Sabian, I think, doesn't necessarily have that ceiling, especially with Penelope Ford, who is going to be his wife. So, I mean, they're going to be a duo, right? And I think they're going to be a power duo in AEW. I think he's got a lot of upside, and of course, she has a ton of upside.
Yes.
She's super athletic. I mean, she's beautiful, right?
Yes.
I mean, just beautiful, but she's also incredibly athletic. And once she's had a few years of wrestling, but once she has more years of actual wrestling, she's gonna have even more upside than him, I think. So, but yeah, I think they're a good couple.
All right, and next there was a Spears and Tully backstage thing. We had
Tully laid into Spears and then kind of gave a black glove after that. So we don't know what that signifies, but apparently Tully and Spears are still a team.
I think I was calling. I think I was calling Brian Cage Brian Page last week during the podcast. My bad. Of course, it's Brian Cage. I know who he is. His name is Brian Cage, right?
Yeah, he's Diamond Dallas Cage's son.
He took on a jobber. Taz then cut a promo afterwards. Moxley came out and cut an incredible promo on Brian Cage.
Oh man, total champion, man.
I mean,
like,
they
were really selling this fight.
Yes, yeah. I mean, they're selling it so much better than they sold the Moxley Brody Lee fight, don't you think?
I do. I think we had said it before. I feel like they kind of pulled the trigger on that one a little early, and it was like just kind of a placeholder. And they threw it together. And I don't like the stolen belt gimmick. I mean, that's the story that's been done a bunch, and I don't like it. It's a way to get heat, like an old school way to get heat, but it's maybe it fell flat because there's no fans. But,
right.
But yeah, this, and plus, I just think this dynamic, like Moxley's just like a real tough son of a bitch, and Brian Cage is impressive, right? He looks impressive. He's a huge guy who can do crazy flippy shit, and you wonder about how a guy can beat a guy like that, right?
Right. It's like Moxley's the gritty fighter. Like, he's the fighter, and Cage is the guy that obviously looks incredible, looks jacked. He's completely jacked. I could do without the facial hair thing, but yeah, I'm excited to see this fight because I could honestly see it go either way. And are they waiting till Fyter Fest for it?
I think so. And Fyter Fest is going to be a 2-week thing on Dynamite, essentially. So they're going to have it's not going to be Bleacher Report like it was last year. It's going to be filmed live. It'll be live one night, and then they'll shoot the rest of it that same night, and then they'll air it the next week. So
Gotcha.
It won't be. So it'll be like a pay-per-view on TV, which I think is a cool idea.
Yeah, it is, and especially with a limited crowd, you might as well get the ratings for it instead of trying to
Absolutely.
I don't think people are gonna, even though they delivered last time $50 for the pay-per-view. It is
Yeah,
people have limited money. Yours truly included.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be more of an issue, but it was their best-selling pay-per-view to date, and I think part of it is what would we have done? We'd have gone to Joey's, right?
Yeah,
we ain't going to Joey's right now. You
No.
know, so that's multiple people. There's usually 8 to 10 people in there, and those 8 to 10 people all want to see it. It's easier to throw $10 at Joey and $10 at some pizza,
right?
But there't still people that want to see that, and they're going to spend. Each individual is going to spend $50 on it.
That's really encouraging. If we would. How long's AEW been going? A year and a half?
Exactly a year, because the first show was Double or Nothing. As far as regular
how long's the TV? How long's it been on TV?
October.
Yeah, that sounds about right. So I mean, if we're talking because we talked a lot going into AEW making its debut and what we wanted for it and what we wanted wrestling to be. If you would have told me that they would have had their best pay-per-view selling in the middle of a global pandemic, I would have been like, hold on, are my parents still alive? And then I would have been like,
no doubt.
I would have been like, okay, so cool, they're still alive. How did they do that? I mean, that's really impressive for them, and it's encouraging going forward.
It really is, yeah. And I think not oversaturating their fans, and the fact that you have the fan loyalty.
Yes.
Because I don't mind giving my money to AEW because
they're not Vince.
I don't feel bad about it. Yeah, they're not Vince. It's not like the literal epitome of evil corporation, right? Vince might be the greatest promoter in the history of wrestling, but he embodies so much negativity about such a variety of things that I don't like, and I don't like giving my money to that. Whereas I don't mind giving my money to, even though Tony Khan is a billionaire and I'm all eat the rich, at least he seems to be, he seems to care about what the fans want. He wants to give them a good product.
Well, he's not sending people to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, and he's not firing people and making them lose their spots if they don't want to come to work either, and amidst the global pandemic,
Right.
He opened up his goddamn show with a Black Lives Matter vignette. That's one thing we didn't mention. That's how the show
did
opened.
he? I missed that. I must I was
simple.
in drive-through at Dairy Queen.
Of course.
Well, they got the new Wonder Woman Cookie Collision Blizzard. I don't know if you knew that.
Does it taste like Gal Gadot?
You mean no? It didn't, because Palestinian lives matter. So I mean, fuck off, dude. I'm making everything political tonight. No, she's really hot. So they did open up with a Black Lives Matter thing, huh?
Yeah, it was just real simple. It was a black screen, white letters, just like, I forget exactly what it said, but, simple message like, we hear you, we're listening, we're with you, we stand with you, you matter, like, stuff like that. So,
coming up next, we had Colt Cabana versus Chris Jericho, and the announcers seemed pretty surprised that this is the first time these guys had ever fought. Just doing a quick once over in my brain, I was like, that doesn't surprise me at all. Like, they've both been around for, obviously Jericho's been around forever. Colt Cabana's been around for a long time, but that doesn't really surprise me. They've never fought each other.
Yeah, I mean, whenever Jericho's been in WWE forever and he's pretty much insulated, but you can only wrestle people in WWE, it's not surprising.
Right,
all.
and Cabana's been on the indies. I mean, I guess they could have crossed paths when they gave when Cabana was in WWE for that cup of coffee, and they gave him a real Jewy name. I can't remember what it was. The match was okay. Jericho seemed pretty slow in that match, to be honest. It didn't seem like he was really bringing his A game. I guess what you can't really expect a 50-year-old to do anymore. He is getting old, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, like, he's like a master of his craft, but he's no spring chicken, that's for sure. Yeah, I imagine he's hurting after matches, and I imagine he's hurting in the ring whenever it happens. I can't believe he still pulls a lion salt out every now and then.
I know, and I think Cabana's like my age. I think he's probably around 40 years old. I think we're exactly the same age. I think him, me, and Punk, I think we're all the same age. Us three that all went to high school together. Cabana, me, and Punk. Orange Cassidy came out.
Punk really does seem like a Duchenne guy.
Don't tell him where I went to high school. Do shit, pioneers, do shit. Orange Cassidy came out and kind of fucked with Jericho for a little while. I guess
we're definitely getting an Orange Cassidy Jericho match, because last week he had that awesome angle where he just kind of wandered through their interview, which cracked me up.
Yes, which I enjoy. I enjoy that. Orange Cassidy versus Jericho seems like a straight up comedy match, though, doesn't it?
It does. It's not going to headline a pay-per-view, but I can see it headlining a Dynamite and getting great ratings.
Yes, I definitely want to see it. I'm not, this is not Jason Bell in here. Like, I like a little bit of comedy in my wrestling. I love, me. I love Yano.
Oh, yeah. Yano. I'm a big Yano guy, too.
I know you're a big Yano guy, too. Jason doesn't like Yano at all, but I love... Jason, what do you think about Yano?
Oh, hell no.
Well, I mean, he brings a lot of joy to a lot of people, Jason, so sorry, dude. We had Nyla Rose versus Swole. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm stealing your bit.
That match, No, it's fine. Real quick before that match, we did do a Private Party Matt Hardy segment where it looks like we're going to get Hardy Party or Party Hardy, and another really fun trios. So, like, AEW's filled with awesome trios, and this seems like really good for a variety of reasons, because of course Private Party is very reminiscent of Hardy Boys. Definitely take after them, and they absolutely need a veteran like Matt Hardy, to show them the ropes and take them under their wing, and I think it's perfect. Couldn't have been a smarter decision. I think it's absolutely perfect.
Yeah, that's great, especially coming off the Stadium Stampede, because Matt Hardy doesn't have to stay in the main event. Matt Hardy's better used, using younger guys and putting them over. I love it also. Should AEW get a 6-man tag belt?
I think so. I only say that because of the depth of their roster and the absolute plethora of trios of not just trios. It's not like you just have like 3 guys, but of like actual quality entertaining trios that they have.
Right. Also, the depth of the roster and the fact that they only have 1 show per week to get guys on TV, to get guys over, having a 6-man belt just makes sense to me. I'm all for it. What was next?
Oh yeah, Nyla Rose and Big Swole, which I kind of got more than I expected out of this. At least I wasn't expecting like too much. They're both pretty green, but Big Swole has definitely been running her mouth at Nyla for a long time, and so it was kind of cool to see them go at it. I mean, I like them both, but definitely, pretty like hard-hitting match, and Nyla gets a win after her big loss, but it doesn't really hurt Swole at all because Nyla's like literally a beast, and Swole came out and straight up said like, she doesn't care that she lost. Like, she's like, I'll get her next time. She just wanted to beat on her, So, but after that, we did have the
Britt Baker,
Shivani. Oh, was that Britt Baker? Yeah, Shivani's in there too. I said it last week. I was like, I hope they make Britt Baker like a weekly thing, even though she's hurt, and they're doing it. And
it was pretty. It was pretty funny.
I like slow mo, like that slow mo rehab vignettes, but it's all over the top, very tongue in cheek. It's just good, until it gets stale, and then let it run its course. But while she's got some star power, and while she's got this momentum, like just let her keep doing it. It's kind of like the Fashion Police. Like those were not the which I'm sure we'll talk about here in a minute, but those were not height of.
We're talking about the Fashion Police.
For sure. But those were not like the height of, intellectualism or like the height of entertainment. But I'll be goddamned if I was not thrilled to tune into SmackDown back when SmackDown was good.
Actually, that's a tremendous comparison because I like the Britt Baker stuff too because it doesn't have to be top of the card and it doesn't have to be completely fucking stupid. It can be mid-card or lower to mid-card and still serve its purpose and kind of, I thought the Fashion Police were genius, and I thought the Britt Baker thing on Wednesday night, I thought it was really good too.
Yeah, I was a fan. Shivani also had a segment where he interviewed FTR, and they came out and said what the FTR stands for, which it's like it can mean a variety of things. It can mean, for the revolution or follow the rules, which are incidentally 2 completely opposite ideas.
Yes.
But
what did you think of their interview?
I thought it was really good because they they put over all these tag teams except the Young Bucks, which everybody expects this dream match out of them and the Young Bucks, and that's what we're waiting for. But they're like, no, we want to wrestle these guys, and no, we don't want to wrestle the Young Bucks. We want to knock them out and pin them in 3 seconds because we want to show that they're nothing. That
was my favorite part when they go. Were they talking about the Young Bucks? I thought they were talking about the Lucha Brothers, but they might have been talking about the Young Bucks.
The Lucha Brothers, he said they're going to show them the emphasis on tag team, or he said we're going to show them how tag team wrestling is, emphasis on tag, because they never tag.
Right. And then he said about the Young Bucks, he goes, I don't want to we don't want to put on the match of the night. We want to punch them in their mouth. And then Dash Wilder goes, I want to put them out in 6. I want to pin them in 3 seconds, which was great. I thought they were really good. I thought it was really funny when Shivani goes, I always thought FTR stood for fuck the revival, and they bleeped out fuck and the revival.
Yeah, that was my favorite part probably of the night, honestly. His delivery was perfect.
It was real good. And then the main event was Cody versus Jungle Boy.
Yeah, exactly what it should have been. Cody is totally his father's son. He's going to gig in every opportunity he can gig. He's never going to stop gigging. Like, for people that get mad when Cody blades, he's going to do it anytime he wants because he's got damn Dusty Rhodes' son. You ever seen Dusty Rhodes' forehead?
Yeah. The blood seemed pretty unnecessary in the Jungle Boy match, but hey, do your thing, man.
Yeah, it's his company. blood your main event, whatever. I'm fine with it. And really put over Jungle Boy, even though, he's not going to win. He's not going to beat Cody, who's the top guy in the company. But he's definitely going to get competitive. And it added storytelling dynamics because he was arguing with MJF during the match. So they're really playing off like they're going to continue that MJF feud. So
and
I
also,
like everything about it.
Yeah, and also on a granular level, it helps Jack Perry, Jungle Boy, to have a main event match on a Dynamite with a guy like Cody Rhodes. He's going to learn things from Cody Rhodes.
24 years old or something?
I don't think he's that old.
What I mean?
I think he's younger than that.
He might be like 22, yeah.
AEW was really good, though. All right, Zach, and how was your NXT experience on Wednesday night? What you think?
NXT was okay. It was a go-home show for NXT in Your House, which I'm a fan of the branding of that. I think I mentioned last week. But we start out with Candice LeRae and Mia Yim, which is not a bad way to start. You need to feed that cat.
You can hear that? I turned the mic off. No, he's sitting right in front. This is not the shitter like Millie was last week or 2 weeks ago. This is Zanman. I'm watching him eat. He's just a mouthy motherfucker.
Is that? I was going to say, is that the one that looks like Hitler? But I think they both look like Hitler, right?
They both kind of look like Hitler, yeah. I also own Mein Kampf, but I bought it at a book. I bought it at a book thing for $1.
Oh man, I'm taking a far cry from our one count here. But
you wouldn't buy Mein Kampf for $1?
Oh yeah, I probably would.
I mean, it's just for $1. It's hardback too.
Nice.
I read like 100 pages of it, and I'm gonna go out on a limb here. Hitler was kind of fucked up.
That's a hot take.
Yeah, I know. Cold-blooded. Okay, sorry. All right. So Candice LeRae versus Mia Yim.
Yeah, so I like Candice's new gimmick, the Candice and Johnny thing. And I don't know if people know, I don't know if we've mentioned it before, but Mia Yim and Keith Lee are a couple. Like, there's a reason like Keith Lee's coming out to like save Mia Yim. They're like an actual couple.
I know that Johnny Gargano is so good, but I'm actually surprised at how smoothly he became a great heel.
Really, I know that's the thing, because he embodies the quintessential babyface, right? He's definitely like smaller guy, fights from below like an underdog. It is remarkable, really, and it just shows how smart he is and how talented he is that he was able to just literally turn.
Yeah, what a brain for the business, you know?
Yeah, it was like whenever Daniel Bryan, I saw Daniel Bryan's like last big heel turn live on the SmackDown where he cheated to win the WWE Championship from AJ Styles. That was in St. Louis, and I mean, of course, I marked out because I got to see a title change, but it was because I got to see a title change. He, looking back on it and rewatching it, he was so good at doing that because he was, such a babyface. Again, it's Daniel Bryan, but he was able to, make that turn work, even though his heel gimmick sucked because Vince thinks that being someone who's interested in being a responsible Earth citizen is actually a bad guy. But
oh yeah, Vince thought that was the heeliest thing he could do.
Yeah. So next we're gonna have a Black Lives Matter protester being a heel. That's gonna be like a whole thing. He's gonna put Mustafa Ali out there as a heel. I don't put it past him. But yeah. Anyway, it was a digression. But Candice and Yim, they have a singles match before it goes into a double countout, and then Johnny comes down and urges her to keep beating on her, and then Keith Lee comes down for the save, and then there's some melee, and then they announce it as like a mixed tag, right? So there's a lot of I don't want to say overbooking, but there's a lot of booking going on.
It's the Teddy Long. It's the Teddy Long special, man. It's so main rostery that I pretty much can't stand it when NXT does that, because that's not what NXT should be. NXT should be the antithesis to the main roster. NXT should be trying to do what AEW is doing, which is making it fresh, making it seem more like a wrestling show and less like, for lack of a better term, less like a Vince show, less like a show that.
I think that's why. I think that's why this stuff rubs me the wrong way so much, and why I get so upset when I see NXT and it has this main roster stuff on it, because it's invading like something that I like and care about. Right?
Well, yeah, when they have Candice LeRae versus Mia Yim, you know that the two guys are going to get involved. Fine. I don't mind if they get involved. They have a match coming up on Sunday at TakeOver, at Saturday. I don't mind that they get involved. I mind when you come back from commercial and all of a sudden it's a mixed tag match. It's like, well, what was the show going to do if the two guys wouldn't have interfered like they weren't supposed to interfere anyway? That's what bothers me. I don't like it when there's a main event that's made in the first segment of the show, which didn't happen on this show, but that's a main roster type thing that I just don't want to see on NXT.
What would the main? Yeah, if it would have been like a main event, like, well, what were you planning for the main event then? Like,
right? Did you just have no plan?
Scripted.
Right. It's so stupid. Just make it more believable. That's all.
Yeah. And then, so they have a match. Keith gets Johnny up for like a spirit bomb. Johnny pulls car keys out of his pocket and like gouges Keith Lee's eyes, which a minute later Keith Lee's fine. Like the last time we saw this happen, it was Santana or Ortiz, I can't remember. I think it was Ortiz took or maybe it was Jericho. Jericho did it to goddamn Jon Moxley, and Jon Moxley wore an eye patch for like 2 months.
Yeah, right.
Like, he wore it at airports and like he wore it everywhere.
Right.
And like Keith Lee's fine like 30 seconds later, and that's the main roster shit that like annoys me. And then of course we get more Dexter Lumis, which
ya boy.
I guess this guy's actually an artist. I googled like Dexter Lumis picture because I wanted to see this picture again, and it came up, and he has like a lot of pictures. I guess his Twitter and Instagram and stuff. Like he draws kind of in that caricature style, like the Six Flags.
Oh, so he actually drew that?
He actually drew that, I'm pretty sure, because there's a bunch of his art and stuff. So, which is kind of adds a layer to this like onion of Dexter Lumis, but I don't know. It was weird. It was just weird.
It was weird. It made him seem like a comedy guy too. Which
yeah, absolutely.
I don't want, like, at least let him be a non-comedy guy for a while before you make him a comedy guy. Like, this is the same shit they're doing the Viking Raiders.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a serial killer on week 1, and then now he's like coming out and helping Velveteen Dream, and I don't know. It's it's a death gimmick.
Yeah, I'm going to give a little peek behind the curtain here. We have about 25 minutes left to go. We have to talk about the TakeOver DoOver, and then we have our predictions.
Oh, yeah.
So
okay, cool. Yeah, so we can breeze through.
Nice versus
there really wasn't a whole lot.
Yeah, Nice versus Swerve was, and I
lost again.
Listen, I would love to sit here and talk to you for the next hour and a half, but unfortunately, we can't do this during these pandemic times or until I buy another computer. I yelled that up at my wife.
Shit.
Hopefully she doesn't come down.
But yeah, Nice lost again. Then we got a triple threat tag team match.
Now here's what I wanted to talk about. I really just wanted to skip past Nice and Swerve so we could talk about the return of my dude, Fandango.
Yes,
Brazongo, man. Yeah. They're great. And we're going to talk about Tyler Breeze a little bit later. They won the triple threat tag team match. They're going to be the number 1 contenders, which I love. Now, they probably won it just to get fed to the champs, Imperium, but it was nice seeing Brazongo again, right?
It was. I think it's weird. I know they're a big deal around NXT. I think it's weird that like, oh, he's back, and then they're in a number 1 contenders match, and then they win, and now they're number 1 contenders. Like, I know that they're like bigger stars than most of the tag teams in NXT. It just seems, it's just like kayfabe. It's like, how do you justify it, right? Like, it just seems kind of weird for them to get thrown into that mix right away. But I am thrilled to see them back or Fandango back, because, dude, it takes talent to make a male stripper gimmick entertaining. That's what he is, right? When we come down to brass tacks.
Yeah, he's a male stripper. He is so fucking good, though. And he's a great wrestler, too, man. The guy's got chops. I'm a Fandango mark. I really am. They did a really cool Rhea Ripley, Io Shirai, Charlotte Flair vignette that I was a fan of. Aaliyah lost to Santana Garrett, which was kind of strange. I like Cameron Grimes getting another decisive win against Bronson Reed. What's your take on Cameron Grimes right now?
I think he should be on this TakeOver card because he's good enough. He's smart enough. Gosh darn it. People like him.
Oh, hell no.
No, Jason, I like him too. You shouldn't talk like that, Jason.
And then we have the Cruiserweight Classic, not Cruiserweight Classic, the Cruiserweight Championship, which is no longer the interim championship. It's now just for the belt. El Hijo del Fantasma versus Drake Maverick. Good match.
Very good match.
These guys are both
Stevie
really
Wonder
talented.
can see that.
And, El Hijo del Fantasma wins and kind of a tear-jerking moment, right, where we think that Drake Maverick might be out of a job now. He's lost everything. And
it was really well done.
With a clipboard with like an NXT contract, and crowd went wild. The few people that they had, in there.
Right.
But I still think it's weird that they're calling attention to all of the releases and layoffs and stuff. But I am thrilled that Drake Maverick gets to keep his job, and I still want to know whether this was a work from the very beginning, or if he was just that good that he convinced them to hire him back.
He's a really talented dude. I saw some of him on TNA Impact. He was really talented then. He's a really good babyface fighting from underneath. He's a fun heel. He was who was he the manager for? Authors of Pain?
Yeah, and then they made him piss his pants.
Yeah,
on TV.
I completely forgot about that. I think it's weird that they made a story out of it too, but they also had CM Punk try to eat Paul Bearer's ashes. So they'll make a story out of anything. I think the biggest takeaway, I watched the entire match. I was enthralled. I think Phantasma really can tell a story in the ring. Like, he's really good at building a match. This is where it starts. These are the beats we have to hit a crescendo. And I was a big fan of that match.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And he's, neither one of them are like young guys or anything.
No.
But they're both really talented. That's like the weird thing about, you don't even get to NXT hardly until you're 30, and you don't even get to the main roster until you're almost 40. It seems like
sometimes, unless you're either super young or you're 35.
Yeah,
you're either Velveteen Dream or you're Cassius Ohno.
And I think that's another big difference between AEW and just NXT WWE in general, because we're seeing guys learn and grow on the fly. Sammy Guevara, dude, last year if you would have told me that Sammy Guevara was going to be an absolute superstar and just be probably top 3 highlight of every week's Dynamite, I'd been maybe, but I doubt it.
But I doubt it. Right.
Sammy's great. He is so good. I am such a Sammy Guevara mark.
Well, they gave him an opportunity, and what's the phrase for it? You grab the brass ring.
Yeah,
that's my Vince impression. How was it?
It was good.
All right, let's get to.
I cringe just like I do whenever Vince said it.
Let's get to that 3 count.
1, 2, 3.
All right, we're going to do our NXT TakeOver DoOver, and this week's is NXT TakeOver Brooklyn from August 22nd, 2015. Let's get right into it. We have... Oh, this was the first one away from Full Sail. which is why several times throughout the...
Yeah, obviously a much bigger event. Like, you could tell.
Stephanie, when she came out, said they had 15,000 people there. They might have been juicing that a little bit, but there were plenty of chants in there where they were chanting "Full Sail sucks," which I gotta admit is kind of fun. This was a hot ass crowd and a great. I mean, there's greater, but this was a great takeover. Didn't you agree?
Oh yeah, for sure. This was the best so far. It had such a big show feel. Barclays Center, New York City crowd, very smarky crowd, like, and a lot of them. Really good card. This show like had it all.
All right,
it really was. We can spoiler alert. Best takeover we've seen so far.
Yes, it's the best takeover we've seen so far. It started off with Tyler Breeze versus Jushin Liger. So, what did you think about this match?
I had seen this one a couple times already because I'm a big Liger mark, and I, of course, had to watch the one time that he wrestled in a WWE ring. And we actually watched it like a few months ago before this COVID thing. When I realized that there was a TV I knew there was a TV in your basement because it's right in front of us when we do the pod, but it was like never on.
Right.
And
it's
I
on right
turned
now.
it on and we watched it. But it was just a total kind of showcase for the WWE universe to see a legend and arguably the greatest light heavyweight wrestler to ever live. At least definitely the greatest one of his era. And we got to see him do all his moves. And Tyler Breeze sold really well for him.
He was also really fun. He was taunting Tyler Breeze. He grabbed the selfie stick. He did the thing in the corner where, it was a really fun match. Jason sent me all of his predictions and all of his star ratings for these because the motherfucker does his homework, and I gave mine before I saw his. Both of us had this at 3 stars. What say you?
I had 3.5 stars, and I think it maybe bumped it up a little bit because of my nostalgia for watching Liger.
Yeah, you love him.
It was not a. It had like good psychology, like you said, but it wasn't anything but like a showcase. It was a fun curtain jerker.
It was that's what I was just gonna say. It was a perfect curtain jerker. The crowd was loving it. The crowd was eating it up. Liger was really playing to them, and Tyler Breeze is such a good piece of shit heel.
Yeah.
I mean that's really been a theme in the first 5 or 6 weeks that we've been doing this. Is that I think Tyler Breeze has been on every show, and Tyler Breeze is a lot of fun.
Yeah, and he's been losing most of the matches,
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter because
it doesn't.
It doesn't. Yeah.
Next up, we have Vaudevillains versus Blake and Murphy. Alexa came down. Blue Pants came down. I completely forgot about Blue Pants.
Yeah, who the fuck is Blue Pants?
I don't really remember. I remember her being a big deal back when this happened, but I don't really remember who the fuck she is, and I didn't even look it up because I guess I don't care. But
yeah, it was the same. But I remember I was like, Blue Pants. I'm like, are they saying Blue Pants?
Yeah, her name was
Blue Pants.
Yeah, her name was Blue Pants. Fucking weird. But anyway, not a whole lot to say about this. The Vaudevillains won the belts. It's fun.
Pop the crowd.
It's fun to see how over the Vaudevillains were, and how that was never going to be a main roster thing. I'm afraid to say, but it's really good in NXT. Jason and I also gave this the exact same rating. Zach, I'm not going to tell you. I want to hear what you have to say.
3.25 stars.
Okay. Jason and I both gave it 2.5 stars. So it was fun. It wasn't a very long match though. I mean that means something to me when I'm trying to give it stars, I guess, is that they really have to have time to tell the whole story, but different strokes, I guess. Next up we had
my basis, I think part of it too is we're watching this in front of an amazingly hot crowd, and a lot of my judgment for whether or not like a match is working and whether or not it's good is crowd reaction. That's why it's so hard to rate matches anymore, or, you know, kind of tell what's good and what's bad, because there's no crowd to react. Or if there is, it's the crowd that knows exactly how they're supposed to react, right? Because they're a bunch of wrestlers.
Yeah.
So it still doesn't really work.
Just as a little
but,
aside,
you know,
a little aside before we run out of time, did you watch Seth Rollins versus Aleister Black on Raw?
no, I didn't watch any main roster stuff this week.
Man, Seth Rollins, Aleister Black was a 22-minute match at the beginning of Raw, and it was really fucking good. You should go watch it if you get a chance.
I'll watch it, yeah.
Next up is Ty Dillinger, a.k.a. Shawn Spears, versus Apollo Crews. Apollo Crews is, you know, even 5 years later, he's an unreal athlete, man. Just completely unreal. I gave this 1.5 stars. I'm still not the biggest Ty Dillinger, Shawn Spears guy. I gave it 1.5 stars. Jason gave it 2.5. What'd you give it?
I give it 2.5, yeah. I think Apollo Crews, like, it's like, oh, are they finally starting to see the upside of this guy? Like, Uhaa Nation or, you know, whatever. Like, he was a big deal coming in.
He was a big
People
deal.
knew him.
He was a big deal coming in. I can't remember what his name was. I can't remember what his name was.
It's like Uhaa Nation or something.
That's probably right. Okay, Samoa Joe versus Baron Corbin. Jason, did you like this match between Samoa Joe and Baron Corbin? Actually, I should just ask, did you like Baron Corbin in this match?
Oh, hell no.
What did you think, Zach?
I thought it was too long because Baron Corbin was still super green and he was not.
Stevie
Even though
Wonder can
Joe's
see
like
that.
an absolute veteran. Like, he was not necessarily able to carry Corbin to an excellent match here. So it was. I think we could have swapped some time and made this one shorter and maybe made that tag match a little longer.
Way too long. Baron Corbin and Samoa Joe. While I'm probably the biggest Baron Corbin mark on the show, which isn't to say I'm a Baron Corbin mark. I do like him. In fact, if you went back, you'd probably find tape of me saying that I am a Baron Corbin mark. This match didn't work for me. I gave it 1.5 stars. What did you give it, Zach?
Yeah, I give it 1.5 exactly. That's surprising.
Do you want to guess what Jason marked out Cornelius Bell gave it?
No.
He gave it 3.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know. Jason, what do you have to say about giving it 3?
Stevie Wonder can see that.
Fuck that, man. All right. We have okay, so now we're getting into it. Stephanie comes out. Stephanie talks about, she still says divas, but she announces the Sasha Banks versus Bayley match. I'll go first. This is a tremendous match. This is maybe the best women's match in WWE up until that time. It's probably still not the best, but I'd say it's still probably on the short list of best women's matches in WWE of all time. I gave it 4.5 stars. What do you got it at, Zach?
I had 4.5 stars as well. This, in my opinion, absolutely, up until this moment, was the best women's match and still top 5, maybe even top 3. Definitely top 5, though. Off the top of my head, there was some other really great NXT matches, like Asuka Ember Moon, which, where the hell is Ember Moon? I think she's injured.
Yeah, she's injured.
But, I mean, like, they had some awesome shit, and Asuka had some really good matches, and I think that my favorite overall was Becky Charlotte at Evolution. I think that's my favorite women's match in WWE, the last woman standing match, and I don't even like that gimmick. But this was a phenomenal match.
We both gave it 4.5 stars. Jason Cornelius Bell gave it 4.75 stars. So
I was teetering. I almost did that.
I almost did too. If you guys haven't seen this match, I recommend going and watching this match. This is the NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. And if you haven't watched this pay-per-view at all, it's worth watching. The main event is Kevin Owens versus the Demon Finn Balor in a ladder match for the belt. I'll let you go first.
So I am interested actually to to see I'm interested to know what you thought about it, just because I know how much you love Kevin Owens and I know how much you hate the Demon.
Well, just I don't want to parse words here. I hate the Demon gimmick. I mean, I was hitting fast forward. I have the 10-second fast forward thing on my iPad while I was watching it, and it took forever to get through that Demon entrance, man. I fucking hate it, and I hate that he's dressed up like that. That being said, if you're going to have a guy who has supernatural powers or who comes out like that, it's best to have him against a guy that looks just like a regular dude like Kevin Owens. So, that being said, I know that those guys are really great friends, and I do enjoy the dichotomy between those two wrestlers, right? There were some big spots.
Yeah, because one's all pageantry.
Yes.
Finn Balor is all pageantry,
yes.
And Kevin Owens is all, just like you said, he's like a total normal dude.
Yeah, it's like you're all pageantry and I'm just a normal dude, you know? that's why this works.
Which one of us looks more like KO though? I've been working on that belly.
I tell you what, if you took me and you and just blended us together on a picture, we would probably look exactly like KO.
And just gave us a Canadian accent.
Yeah. I love this match. There were a lot of big spots in this match. The storytelling in it was tremendous. I gave it 4.25 stars.
Yeah, I had exactly 4 stars. I want to you can mix, mince words with quarter stars. I feel like when you're within a quarter, you thought about the same in the match. And ladder match was fun. They had not at this time overused the ladder match gimmick in NXT. And I thought the way that they told the story, where Kevin Owens picked this match specifically because he was really good at it, whereas Finn Balor was, totally new to it. I thought that was, good, and they did a good job of hammering that home. But yeah, it was a really well wrestled match, some fun spots, and just a good main event. And again, we had in my opinion, this is the second time a undercard women's match outshone the men's main event match.
Yeah, and we're starting to get into the era now. I think this upcoming takeover that we're getting ready to do predictions on real quick is the 30th one, I think. But we're getting into it where every single takeover is better than the last. And
yeah,
I'll tell you what, we got a bunch of takeovers to go, and it's going to get better and better.
It takes a few years for that to be different.
And I'm really excited to watch a takeover every week. I think this is a lot of fun. I think it's a really good gimmick, and I think that makes us the best podcast going.
Yep, that's a very humble way to look at it.
Okay, we're doing predictions.
This is Banned from Ringside.
Okay, for NXT TakeOver this week, Jason sent me his predictions. We got Ciampa versus Karrion Kross. Who you got, Zach Poland?
Karrion Kross. You don't come in this hot. You don't build a guy like this. Give him that entrance. Give him that valet. And I know that they're an item, but you don't do all that even to lose to Ciampa, who is NXT's daddy almost as much as Triple H is, right? It's like if Triple H is the father, Ciampa's the stepdad that you actually prefer going to his house.
Did you have a stepdad?
I did not. I am one though.
How do you know this? Oh, that's right.
I'm not the one that's preferred.
That's not even true. I prefer going to your house. So we got Charlotte Flair, Rhea Ripley, and Io Shirai in a triple threat match.
Oh, hey, what was your?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm taking Cross 2, and J Bell's taking Cross 2. J Bell sent me his shit too. Next up, we have Charlotte Flair, Rhea Ripley, and Io Shirai. I want you to go least to most likely.
I'm gonna say Charlotte, Io, Rhea. unfortunately. That's not what I would do.
That's least
but
to
I think
most?
That is. Oh, least to most, that's most to least. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Yeah, least to most would be Rhea, Io, Charlotte.
Okay. I am doing almost the same thing. I'm picking Charlotte Flair to win. I'm taking Rhea Ripley second. Io Shirai I'm taking last. Jason Bell has same thing that I do. Charlotte, Rhea Ripley, and Io Shirai. Yeah, that's right.
Well,
okay.
There's the hill that I die on.
Yep. Man, you're always dying on these hills, man. We got Finn Balor versus Damian Priest, which I watched all of NXT. I don't remember them bringing this up.
Yeah, so, well, they haven't talked about it a lot, but I mean, the angle was whenever Cameron Grimes beat Finn, Damian Priest came out and basically showed that he was the one that attacked Finn, because Finn was all mad that somebody attacked him, so, yeah. So, I mean, they did the angle, but they're not really hammering this one home as far as promoting it.
Who do you got?
This is tough, because Finn literally just lost to Cameron Grimes, and I mean, he's just such a superstar. I have a hard time seeing them pinning him twice in a row. Even to, like, Priest needs a thing. I feel like I got to give it to Finn Balor. It wouldn't be what I would do, but I feel like it's their game.
Yeah, we all agree on this. We're all taking Finn Balor. I can't see him making him lose 2 in a row. For the belts, or for the North American Championship, we have Keith Lee versus Johnny Gargano. Who you got?
Oh, this is hard, man. But I'm still going to bet against my boy. Usually I would bet with my rebel heart and not my mind, but I can't do it. I'm going to have to go Keith Lee.
Man, all three of us agree again. Yes, I have Keith Lee also. Jason has Keith Lee. Oh, you know what? Fuck. No, I just messed
Changing
up.
it up?
You guys always think that I'm changing it, but sometimes I just forget who I was thinking about earlier. But I was thinking it would be better to have Keith Lee chasing. You know what? I'm changing it to Gargano.
Right on, making it interesting.
I'll give you the opportunity to change it too if you want to.
Nah.
Okay. And then finally we have Adam Cole versus Velveteen Dream. I'll go first. I'm taking Adam Cole. And I will let Jason Bell go second. Jason, do you want to go second?
Oh, hell no.
Oh, he says no. What are you taking, Zach?
This one's a little bit opposite, even though I'm going to have to pick with Cole, because I have to think that they realize that Dream is not ready for this. Even if they want him to be, he's not ready. But I could see them still doing it, because I said last week that I think they want a homegrown boy as their champion and not a guy who was taught elsewhere, right?
Boy, huh?
They want
Boy.
Oh, God damn it. Oh, that was just a poor choice of words. You know what's funny is I remember seeing Forgotten Sons face not Private Party, but God damn, it's terrible.
Street Profits?
The Street Profits. Here we go again. Can't tell them apart.
Fucking racist.
I remember whenever that happened, seeing people online saying that there were a lot of boys thrown around in that match. And I remember, like, Undertaker, he would call people boy, but it wasn't like when he was wrestling black people, it was just like he would just call them boy, right?
I'll tell you what, from what I know about the Forgotten Sons, that is shocking.
But anyway, yeah, they got off track there. I pick Adam Cole.
I pick Adam Cole too. Jason is taking Velveteen Dream. So those are our picks for NXT In Your House TakeOver this Saturday night, I believe. Hopefully I'll be around watching it. I really want to watch it. And yeah, that's about it. Hold on a second, everybody.
This is banned from Ringside.
We got some birthdays this week. Gorilla Monsoon, R.I.P., would have been 83. Ahmed Johnson is 50. Drew McIntyre, 35. Superstar Billy Graham only would have been 77. Howard Finkel is still with us, I believe. He's 70. Mick Foley is 50.
He just died, right?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Finkel just died. R.I.P. Howard Finkel. You were the best, man. Mick Foley is 55. Tatanka, the same age as Mick Foley. Does that sound weird?
Yeah, it really does.
That sounds weird, but that's what this website told me. Liv Morgan is 26, and Dan Severn is 62. Hey, everybody. We know there's tons of podcasts to listen to, so we appreciate you guys listening to our podcast. For Jason Cornelius Bell, for F&B Eatery, for my entire household and all the beautiful people and animals that I live with, for Two Beer Zach Pullman, for Bo Vice Geisman. We're checking out for now. Next week, we'll be watching the next TakeOver, the one after Brooklyn in August of 2015. Check it out if you want to watch it with us. Everybody, Black Lives Matter and boo the heel!